Broncos country, happy Victory Monday, man, and welcome to Broncos Debrief with Jeremy, Sean, and myself as we, you know, debrief the game from yesterday, right? The Broncos game was a crazy one against the Commanders in a thrilling 27-20 overtime win. Obviously, a lot of emotions in the post game yesterday. So now that we get a chance to kind of decompress, watch the game, rewatch the game in many times, and talk about what went well, where did the Broncos play well, where were some areas of opportunity for them to get better. We're gonna break it all down in depth. So, Jeremy, my man, firstly, how are you doing? And secondly, give us your initial thoughts now that we're, 20 hours removed from the finality of the game yesterday.
Yeah, I've Victory Monday. I'm always good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
doesn't
I hear
matter.
you.
That I don't get too hung up on like style points. It's like Victory Monday is Victory Monday. So I was happy about that. 10-2, especially leading certain unnamed teams by 4 games with only 5 left. That's what you can't complain about that, right?
Not at all.
Um, yeah, rewatching that game was you forget just how much happened leading up to it. You kind of overtime games that come down to one play, you kind of just start focusing on the very, very end of the game and you realize like, oh, there was so many little twists and turns that this game could have went. And the main thing I want to just say is I give the Commanders a lot of credit, but they were in full effort mode. They did not. We're going for it on fourth down. We're going for it on. We're going to give you our best shot. Mariota played very well, and you should be happy you won that game. You shouldn't be like look at the records and be disappointed you won that game. You should be happy,
Yep,
especially on the road.
no doubt about it. No, man, I agree. And like I said, I'm never going to apologize for a win. People always be like, oh, well, there's always a built in excuse, right?
I know.
When we win, it's like always something. And
Yep.
it drives me crazy because we tend to just forget so much that, dude, for the longest period of time, there was actually a lot of games that we were close. So, like, man, we really felt like we could have won that game and we would never end up winning them because we just weren't good. There's a bunch of teams like that. And so, I say the bad teams always find a way to lose, and the elite teams always find a way to win. And then everybody else in the middle will win some of the close games and lose some of the close games. And we're, very much in really every category amongst those elite teams right now. So I'm right there with you, man. I am right there with you. But take me through some of the, your overall initial thoughts. We can kind of just do it rapid fire, and then I'll we'll kind of discuss some of the important talking points, and then I'll kind of share some of mine.
Okay. Yeah. Let me just go through some of my notes that I watched rewatching that game, which I have a bunch. So, first of all, Bo Nix is elite at buying time and throwing on the run. We already knew that, but that needs to be said over and over again. We have now we'll nitpick Nix pick all the little things that we don't like about things that he'll make a mistake on, but that is like an unbelievable trait. He avoided so many sacks yesterday and
Mm-hmm.
hit Bryant and hit all these people just lasers full running, and it's just like that is impressive stuff. That first drive, the early drives are going to be talked about like not scoring touchdowns. That first drive, there was a drop by Pat Bryant on third down that hit him perfectly, and then he got hit in the head while he was defenseless. No call. Big surprise there.
Shocker.
Yeah, and then we had an illegal procedure penalty on the kickoff, which it's like, how is that even possible? Everybody's lined up in a certain spot. We kick it
Yeah.
off.
And they
How's
didn't even
that?
show it.
No,
That
they
was really
didn't
weird.
show it. They didn't explain it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. So it
Yeah.
took them from the 11 to the 20 or the 10 to the 21, and we lost 11 yards there. But I'm like, how's that? I don't even understand how that's even possible. So
Yeah.
if he's offsides or something, sure, but that's not, they call it illegal procedure. Bad missed tackle early by Hufanga. There was an illegal contact on PS2 on McLaren that people, I think, forgot about. We always get on Riley for like any sort of like penalties, but PS2 had a pretty big one on third down there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a spectacular PBU by Riley to save points on that first drive. I mean, he went up and got the ball out of the guy's hands, perfectly, and
I'm actually
that was
glad you
huge.
mentioned that because
Yeah,
I had a lot of things. I watched a lot of things on Riley, and I'm pretty sure it was a throw to Jalen Lane. It was third and
it
8.
was Lane. Yep.
Yeah, and it was an absolutely perfect play. I thought overall, I thought he played really well overall. I thought it was definitely overshadowed by the overtime Debo catch. But you pointed out that Jalen Lane. I don't know if you touched on these ones too, but you might have. But on the Dre Greenlaw interception, I urge people to go back and watch it. And hopefully I'll do like a in-depth film review if I have time this week, which I probably won't. But that interception on Greenlaw was a large part because of the coverage that Moss had on Debo.
Yep.
Just completely took him out. It was clearly going for him. He had great coverage coming across, which forced Mariota to not throw it. And then when he did the whole jump pass, it was throwing, and he was throwing it towards Debo. If Greenlaw didn't get it, Riley was right there. But I credit him fully for that play, just because the coverage on that was great. And then there was a 2nd and 25 that he played the ball perfectly on Terry McLaurin. He
Yep.
got the PBU on
Yep.
that one
Yep.
as well. And that one got completely overshadowed because on the next play, it was 3rd and 25. They got 19, and then they ended up going for it on 4th and converting. So,
yep, exactly. 2 huge PBUs by Riley. One directly saved points. One didn't end up saving, but it was a huge play, and they were in 4th down mode at that point. That play would have set up a 4th down, which normal situations they would have punted, but they obviously needed to score. Let's see what else we got. There was a good tip pass by Singleton that kind of broke up one of their early plays. They were doing this tight end block and then release quick pass, and it was just killing us over and over and over. That was one of their just bread and butter things about how they were getting guys open right away. So Vance is going to have to figure out if, I don't know, like be more aware. If they have a tight end receiving threat staying into block, they need to be aware, like they might slip this really quick and just throw that out because the pass rush is so good. There was bad tackling by the defense in the run game early. They had a lot of 1st down big runs, and there was some 3rd down runs. I think there was like a 3rd and 15 they picked up running because he did a spin move. He got hit by 2 guys, did a spin move.
Well, it was
and
a missed tackle by Hufanga too, and I think they all just assumed that they brought him down. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and there was a couple where it was just like long runs that should have got him off the field that didn't on running 3rd downs, which is crazy. There was, again, horrific non-holding calls on the Commanders O-line, just like the Chiefs game. I mean, the Chiefs game, you could have had like 4 in a row, like bang, 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 bang. But there were some bad ones. Just the guys like jerseys like out here, like every play. Like I don't know how you don't see that. Like I'm sure they do see it, but they're not calling it. Prentice is probably our best short yardage runner. Like that little where they line in the eye and they slip it to Prentice before they would give it to either whoever's the running back is, and he just powers forward. That's been money when it's like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. So great runs by him. There was a great play call and effort by Troutman on that 4th down, like where he slipped it. He caught the pass and then he actually broke a tackle, which I was like, well, my eyes deceiving me. And then did that long run down the field. And then the defense was all fired up, like patting him on the back or everything. So I wanted to shout that out because Troutman made an actual play. That was
an incredible play design.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, that was sweet.
When they went for it on 4th, I was just like, oh, shoot. And then they knew exactly which play they had in their back pocket. And it's perfect. Harvey ran over a guy in the next play. He ran over a guy on a little screen, which got the 1st down. But then the next play, he had poor vision. He could have went to the right and had daylight, and he kept running left and took a 4-yard loss. And I was just like, it just showed you like the youth of him. It was like he can do something good, and then
I literally just finished doing, and I might post it probably tomorrow. Because I got to finish the video, but I just did the full film review, every single carry of RG Harvey. Well, not every one, because there was some where there was a lot, but I watched, and you nailed it exactly with him. And what I wrote in my notes here in terms of the run game was it was definitely not as bad as it appeared live. And
Mhm.
what gave it a lot of context to me was that after the game, Sean Payton kept talking about how many times they checked out of the runs
Mm.
because they were really surprised that Washington didn't go to nickel more. They stayed in base a lot more often than they expected them to, and it just wasn't the right look, so they just weren't running it as much. So I get that. I mean, it's frustrating sometimes. You're just like, well, you got to run it, but listen, you saw the times where they would still run into a bad front and it wouldn't go. But I will say this: like of the 13 RJ Harvey carries, I thought 6 of them there wasn't really much different he could do. He kind of just took what the
Mhm.
defense gave him, whether it was no gain 1 or 2 yards. But the blocking, it was just wasn't really blocked up very well. Um, I thought 3 were poor. So just bad decisions, whether he was
Yep.
trying to cut it outside. That habit, you could tell he has his habit, like he wants to bounce it out.
Yep.
But then there was 4 of them that were really good that I felt he stayed within his read and was patient. The first run of the game, ironically, was the best run for him. But I thought he had
Mhm.
four really good ones. And then I thought Jaleel popped. He had a couple of decent runs too. Um, so yeah, and then I think one note of the run game for me, I'd love to get your thoughts, is I'd like to see more designed runs for Marvin Mims and for Bo Nix. It doesn't have to be like a bunch of them, but have them show that they're going to be threats too, because I think it'll open up the run game in its entirety. But
Yeah.
that's kind of what I wrote with the run game for sure.
And Marvin had a couple and they were successful. And then I think they tried to do that sneaky like Marvin jet sweep that ended up being the flea flicker trick play, and then it
Mhm.
wasn't there. But yeah, the Marvin stuff worked. It seemed like he was more comfortable with it. Yeah, Harvey was inconsistent, but I thought he ran hard. Jaleel had juice. Every time he got the ball, I liked his juice, but you cannot. It's the same thing that happened with Philip Lindsay. It's just like he's just not built for gonna run over anybody.
Yeah.
He's not the size for that. So it's
Mhm.
like you can't rely on him to like pick up something tough. Like it's just not. He just can't. It's
Mhm.
you know. It's like I'm sure like flies want to open your front door and come in your house, but they can't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you just can't
No,
break
for
through.
sure. I mean, he's definitely limited, but I'll say, man, 2 things that I was like shockingly happy with, like really, really surprised, and it was like an awesome thing, was all 3 backs, Bidet included, all 3 were phenomenal in pass protection.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jaleel had a great blitz pickup. I was like, damn, I see you, Jaleel, and helped spring Bo free. In overtime, specifically, RG Harvey, like
Yep.
just unreal across the line of scrimmage, taking the guy out. He had another one earlier that helped Bo. It was on a linebacker, and he held his ground. I mean, he kind of got pushed back a little bit, but
Sure.
definitely more than enough. Bo was able to escape, had a great completion of Pat Bryant. Um, Pleasantly surprised. Like and especially for RJ, if RJ can continue to be trusted in pass pro, he's gonna play more, and I think that's a best case scenario for the Broncos because
Yes.
I only see him getting better. I mean, dude, he's like become borderline, like I wouldn't say elite, but he's become like very, very good in the pass game as a receiver, and that wasn't even his forte in college. So if he can pick that up, then I think he's gonna be able to become a better runner. But yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. I thought the pass protection was awesome.
Yeah. And what was interesting about that one in overtime, that one where he went across, he's asking Nix, I think. I don't know what he's saying, but it looked like he's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then Nix is like, blah, 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 blah. And then he immediately goes and picks that guy up. Nix calmly like navigates it, but like with some like urgency, but not panicked. Hits Troutman, just nice, easy throw. Troutman turns up field, gets the first down. Um, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, and to see him have that kind of, because that was like the calmest you see Bo. It's so funny. Like
yeah,
he's usually a lot more erratic early in the games. I don't get it, but like if fourth quarter overtime, he's cool as a cucumber, and he didn't even bother. It was a clear blitzer, and he just was like, "Oh, RJ's got him," which I
yep,
wouldn't have had that much confidence. And he just
yeah,
calmly stood there, boom, hit
and
him. It was cool.
it might have been the fact that he maybe just told him what the assignment was, so he knew, and as soon as he saw him go over, he's like, okay, that's exactly what it was. But I don't know, he was calm, um, but I have a feeling I know a little bit more why he was so efficient and good in overtime, but also. Um, the last drive before the half that we scored the touchdown, I think that's where they figured some stuff out,
Mhm.
and it was just working to perfection. But after that one back-to-back Harvey play that I was talking about earlier, Nix on third down took an uppercut to the head, no call. They showed it 4 times on on the broadcast, and Collinsworth just completely doesn't talk about it. And then Tirico was like, "It looks like there was a shot, but maybe he was going for his stomach and he like was falling down." It's like, it's still a shot to the head, dude. If we even like breathe on Patrick Mahomes or anybody else, like that's a call. He got
Yeah.
completely hit. So, and Nix is telling him, dude, he hit me like right in the face, but
Mhm.
no
Hey.
call,
Mhm.
leads to a field goal on that one. Um, the Benito pile penalty, although that was like a bad call where he pulled someone off the pile, like called it, and then he got pushed. And
Yeah.
even McCauley was like, they should have called the commander. He wasn't
Yeah.
doing anything.
Yeah.
That that was he just didn't need to do it. So I'm
Yes.
still gonna like give Benito a bad grade for that because it was like it's just unnecessary. I understand like you being like, get off my guy or get, what are you doing? But like you just have to build into these guys' heads at this point. It's like they're gonna call everything they can against you. Like this, have that mentality. Like, don't even let them call something against you on like a choice. Like they will. And that immediately led to their touchdown run. That was like straight up the gut, like super soft. That led to their first touchdown. So I did not like that decision by Benito, even though
Yeah.
it wasn't technically, I wouldn't have called that a penalty. And then what I was saying is, I think Bo and Sean might have figured out the zone, how to beat the zone. So Nick's all last year and the beginning of this year was like, we're going to man him up on everything until he can prove he can beat us. He did. So now it's all you're seeing is zone, zone, zone. And when he finally got that Evan Ingram connection going, it was just those 5-yard drags and 5-yard like out routes in rhythm, up tempo, and it was like bang. I mean, every single one on that last drive in the 2-minute offense was just like, I
Huge.
mean, he was hitting Harvey outside, he was hitting Troutman, he was hitting Bryant, I mean, it was like no problem whatsoever. And that we went all the way down the field, and then that same thing in overtime was the play where RJ picked up that block, hit Troutman on another drag route, and then he hit Evan Ingram on the long one where he
Mhm.
caught it and turned upfield. So like,
Such a beautiful route by Ingram. My goodness. I think they call it
yeah,
a jerk route,
mm-hmm,
is what Sean Payton said. I've heard it be
yep,
called a couple different things. Holy moly, that was such a beautiful and that burst, man.
oh yeah, dude,
Maybe the bye week helped him out because he looked like running back fast. I think even the defense was like, holy hell, you
yeah,
know?
and he ran hard. He was like, I'm gonna
Mhm.
make you tackle me. I'm not gonna just like expect contact and kind of go down. Cortland does that way too much, in my opinion, where he expects contact, even though he's the
Mhm.
bigger guy, and then kind of like lets them tackle him, which Evan was like, I'm gonna make you tackle me. But it was just those little 5-yard ins and outs that were just like they shredded them on that.
Yep.
Um, and that was huge. I want to note that 2 fumbles bounced the Commanders' way on this game. The first was on that Benito pressure where Mariota kind of had to throw it really quick. He threw it backwards. The guy dropped it and then recovered it. And then the next one, Debo on a kickoff return got it knocked out. And then it literally just got stuck underneath somebody's leg. And so Commanders got all the bounces. I want to just say, like, for fumbles, that would have been huge plays otherwise,
Mhm.
and a lot of calls. So that's also why this game was closer. Mariota, just his running ability kept them in this football game. I think
Definitely.
going into this game, I don't think they respected Mariota's running ability enough. And there were so many times when that like contain rush would break down and Mariota was just like, I'm out. Like,
Mhm.
it's what we almost hope Bo would do a little more.
Mhm.
Mariota was like happy to do it. And
Yeah, but the thing is too, man, like dude, he takes shots. Like, and kudos
exactly.
to his toughness. But you just don't want your quarterback getting murdered like that. And like, and
Yep.
that's the thing I always try to go back and forth with Bo Nix about when I tell people, like, the fact that he doesn't take sacks is a special trait, but a lot of times it does bite him in the ass too.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so intent on not taking a sack that he'll be late,
Yeah.
or his feet will be off, or he'll, kind of look to escape a pocket when he doesn't need to. And so, and Sean Payne talked about it too. He said, listen, coaching, like if somebody takes a lot of sacks in college, it's
Yep.
way harder to coach that out of them than anything else.
Yeah.
And like data points and proves that out, which I think makes a lot of sense. I mean, because even like Caleb Williams has been always somebody that in college always took way too many sacks, and he still does in the pro, even though he took a big leap forward this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's still someone that just takes a lot of sacks. Like it kind of is what it is. Whereas with Bo, it's like, in some situations, taking the sack's not the worst, but again, like I'll take the 3 and outs or the thrown away balls if it means my quarterback's not getting hammered. Period.
Yep.
That's just kind of how it is. So yeah, that's a good point that you made there.
And I feel like Bo is getting better at that too. Like I would rather have a guy needing to slow down than have to speed up. Like Sean said the same way. There was one play that's coming up that was 3rd and 10 where he dropped back. He felt the clock go off in his head and he did a quick look left, right, and there was good protection. And then he found Cortland down the sideline on a deep one. And it didn't just like, oh crap, I got to get it out. He kind of checked first and then was still knew where Cortland should be.
Yeah. Which again, like it worked out wonderfully because Cortland was so open, but it's also like, just fire it. Like sometimes you got to trust it because there's been moments where he hasn't necessarily checked, but he's hesitated, as you saw on the interception. Because even if that, let's say that linebacker wasn't there, like it wasn't just that he didn't see him. If that ball is getting thrown, it is well behind Pat, and it could still be intercepted by the guy behind him because he was late. Like it was one of those where he kind of double clutched and then was like, screwed, I'm going to go for it. And so, yeah, I mean, it worked out. It was a sweet play with the Sutton one, but yeah, sometimes it's like, I felt really weird about him, like with his vision, like, let me check, and then, let me throw it.
Yeah.
But again, I get it. Like the best ability is availability. And I feel like he's cleaned a lot of those up, but you see it still start to creep up in some of those throws.
Yeah. And I was trying to remember exactly what play that, if it was that before or after the pick, because if it's after the pick, I think he's just don't make 2 mistakes. Like don't get a strip sack. Don't have somebody come around. I think he was just being safe with it because we had the lead. The one where he on that 3rd and 10 where he hit Cortland.
Oh yeah, no, that was I think that was well before. But he did like right before the interception. I was watching the review from Tim Jenkins as well, who I like. Right before the interception, there was one where Tim Jenkins makes a really good point. This is why I like his film reviews a lot because he obviously is like coached football, played in the NFL a little bit, like so he knows a lot of times maybe what's expecting and what he had pointed has been an issue that Bo's gotten a lot better at, but he still does is sometimes he feels like Bo's not actually taking the right drop. Like it should. He's like, this seems like he's like, he was confident that it's a route that should be a 3-step drop. Bo takes it as a 5. And as a result, his footwork is just going to be off. The timing and everything's going to be off. So on one of those where he took a 5-step drop instead of a 3, it was late and he ends up dirting it into the ground to Pat Bryant. And then on the next play, he's like footwork and everything was perfectly clean. But here he was just late. He pumped it and then that was the one that got intercepted. So again, like, little things obviously very important, but the best thing is he's consistently getting so much better at it, and I just feel like it's just more experience, the better it's going to get.
Yeah. Pat Bryant had a second drop on one where Bo scrambled around and just threw it really hard at him, and then he had a second drop on that one. Jaleel, I said that the flea flicker fail and then the penalty is what led to the court 3rd and 10. So we got to 2nd and 1, and then we did that. So that's how that went down. And we ended up getting, we executed that rub to Pat Bryant on those. Again, we started going back to that same drags and outs and was just working to perfection. Franklin did a perfectly executed rub where he didn't touch him at all, but he made him
Perfect.
just hesitate enough. Nick's hit Pat right in the chest, got him down to like the 5.
Yeah.
And that's
Aside from
when,
the touchdown throw, that was probably his best throw of the game. I know it wasn't very far, but I mean, it was pinpoint. Like it
yeah.
was a really tight window still. And to hit him in stride so he can keep that momentum, I thought that was off the chain.
And that touchdown throw, like if that's certain other quarterbacks, especially any other quarterbacks that were drafted in the same draft class, we would have seen that a billion times this week because they would be gushing themselves over it. But like with Bo, it's just like, yeah, he scrambled and made a play. It's like, dude, that's elite stuff
It
right
was
there.
ridiculous. No, I literally couldn't believe it. And I don't know if it was you in the Discord or someone else that was like, if that was Mahomes that made that play, they would have already made it a thing in Madden or something,
Yeah.
like a featured play in Madden. And it's so true. And listen, like I like it when like we don't get the credit. Like there was so much hate on us. Like the Broncos are the worst 10-2 team, and you're gonna have to wait until the playoffs to see. Like I always like that negativity more than like everyone completely hyping us up, because it kind of keeps the chip on everybody's shoulder. But that play was just ridiculous, dude. I mean, to be able to see it too, like flash in the vision, be falling, make the play, like, and make a perfect throw is crazy. Yeah. It was crazy. Next level.
I mean, he was completely almost sideways. It was crazy. Yeah. And then both Harvey's touchdown runs were both just follow the blocker to the left. I just thought that was interesting. There was almost the exact same type of play. The one in overtime and the one that he got earlier. Same exact running. So they feel good about that play when it gets to about the 5, and both just worked to perfection. Mm-hmm. On the interception, the reason Knicks, I think, missed Wagner is because they have Evan going up and cutting right across Wagner's face. And I think he's assuming he's going to take him with him, almost always will. And Wagner just doesn't. So in that situation, you should hit Evan, but he didn't follow Evan. And then all of a sudden he's now in the lane. And also somebody jumped up.
Yeah,
and then came back
I was
down.
Gonna say, that's what I think it was. I think the fact that, because he pumped it when he realized somebody was up. So I think whoever jumped up, that completely blocked his vision. I mean, he clearly didn't see him, which those kinds of things, again, like I say, I mean, that happens. It's unfortunate. But when you go back and look at it, the only like minor concern I had was, even if who was it again? Bobby Wagner. Yeah, even if Bobby Wagner wasn't there, it definitely wasn't completed based on how it was looking, and it was well behind to the point where, it could have been intercepted. But I mean, again, those kind of things happen. It kind of is what it is. It's never going to be perfect.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be low, but I couldn't tell exactly where it was going to be. And then next drive, Knicks heroically avoided a sack. And then RJ unnecessary bounces it out for a loss when he didn't need to. If he would have just followed it, he would have gotten at least 3, and he could have gone left, and he wanted to go right for a loss. And it was just like, that's one of those ones you're talking about. But then on third down, Bo found Prentice for that. Just Prentice is really good at catching and getting upfield immediately. Yep. And Evan does that really well. Troutman is every once in a while, but like, that's the thing, is Prentice is like, I'm going downhill and I'm going to punish whoever's going to tackle me. But like, he's so good at catching and turning really quickly, which is not easy for a big guy, but that's a nice skill set for him.
Oh, and he ran. Yeah, he wanted to kill the guy. That poor safety. I couldn't even imagine. He was like, oh shit.
I know. Commanders had pretty good coverage on the drive when we had the ball with like 10 minutes left or whatever. Like, he just couldn't find anybody. He had to check it down. They made the tackles, and it was just good on them. I just want to say, for the record, Terry McLaurin is elite. Some of his route running, especially on PS2 and some other ones, was just, man, chef's kiss. And like I said last night, like, he scares me more than like CD Lamb. We played CD Lamb and we shut him down completely. And McLaurin was just like, I don't give a crap. Like, he knows where to find the soft spot in the zones. He's just an intelligent football player, and he's just a gamer too.
But his touchdown catch was the clearest OPI, like so bad. They didn't even sell it well.
You mean
That
on
was that on
the
the
one they took
touchdown.
away?
No, the one in overtime,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was
dude.
gonna get to that, dude.
Like I was like, oh my god, he burnt Patrick Surtain, and then I went back and looked at it today, and I was like, yo, Pat almost got laid out
It
completely,
was the most
like
egregious thing I've ever
crazy.
seen.
Yeah, and he didn't even like they didn't try to like continue to run the route. They literally were just knocked PS2 on his ass. It was
That's that's
yeah
where I want PS2 to be like really, like you're the defensive player of the year. Like you should have respect in this league. If you don't get the immediate call, like I've seen so many games in the last couple of days where something happens and then they complain and then the flag comes in. PS2, if you get freaking picked like that, where you just the guy doesn't even he's like goes right into your chest, dude. Lay down, put your arms up, do whatever you need to do, but like don't just stand there, kind of like looking confused, like did that just happen? Yeah, it just happened, and they didn't
yeah.
call it. Like that was so egregious. Singleton had that huge PBU punch out on third down on their second to last drive. That was a great play. I felt like this whole time we were playing a lot of zone as well, and they were finding the soft spots, especially Ertz and all those guys. And we were a little late to it, but that was a really good one. And then the one at the end with Hufunga, he was late to it, but he pushed him. Ertz got his fingertips on, and then Hufunga pushed him in the back, and he couldn't hold on to it.
Mhm.
But I mean, they did make the plays when they had to make them, but it was just a little late. There was an ignored blatant pass interference on that court that led to the punt when we could have ran the clock out with like 3 minutes left. Court goes out for a 8-yard drag route, and dude just lays it right into him. Bo throws it anyways. And again, Court did kind of complain a little bit on that one, but it was like, dude, like how can you not call something so obvious? You're gonna call ticky tack stuff on Riley, but you're not gonna call obvious stuff. I don't
Yeah.
understand that. JL Skinner is becoming a special teams ace. Like some of his punt protection stuff was just like, oh, hello. And he's been getting so much. I mean, it's week after week with him. Again, there was way more ignored holds on the Commanders on the late drives. It was just egregious again. That was part of the reason why we weren't getting home. Moss had that second PBU that was on that second and 25. The third and 25, I didn't like that defense. That was like a prevent defense that let him scramble around, hit McLaurin, run up for like 19. And you're just like, I wanted to blame McMillan for not like getting on him quicker, but it's like if you saw how they lined up, he was so far back that it was just like,
Yeah. Well, and I was confused because I watched that one when I was looking at some of the Riley stuff, and I wrote down here that it seemed like there was a lot of different times where our communication was off, and that one was one of them because they had trips to the right, I think, and they had all three guys. They had McMillan kind of level one, Riley level two, and Brandon Jones level three, and it was like I don't know if Riley wasn't supposed to go to the right with the guy that was inside, but it would make sense that he was, and that McMillan was supposed to drop left. But they both kind of stayed in the same. They both kind of drifted left, and it just opened that wide open for him. And at first I thought maybe Brandon Jones was supposed to come up, but he's supposed to kind of guard beyond that. So I don't know. It just seemed like yeah, communication was definitely not there on that one. So I don't really know who to blame. I just know it looked weird.
yeah. And then that led to the 4th and 6th, and they picked that up on the Ertz. Barron
Yep.
was he played a little soft, and the guy went up to the sticks, turned around, and Barron was just slightly late. But it was like, dude, you got to play the sticks there. You can't play 10 when they need 6. You can't. And then it was a good job not giving up the touchdown on the end of that game, and just like, but they need to be aware of the clock, and it felt like Surtain had a chance to make the tackle inbounds or at least push him back and keep the clock running, and he let him get out of bounds. And I was just like, oh man, that was like 11 seconds left at that point. By the time they run it in and they go in and try to spike it or try to like set up for a field goal, that might have been the ball game. And then yeah, the Harvey good pass protection play. I didn't like once we scored the touchdown in overtime, I didn't like the fact that we kicked it off through the back of the end zone. Like we had covered well on kickoffs all game. Debo was not getting typically even to the 30, maybe one or two times he got barely to the 30, and then we just kicked it through the back,
You talking
like
about in
not through the,
overtime?
in overtime
Yeah,
after we
I thought
scored.
about that. I don't know. I kind of looked at it like, because I was like, man, I really trust our defense, and I want to ensure 100% that our defense is going to be the one that stops the game. It didn't. I mean, it didn't work out, but it did work out, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was kind of going back and forth there. I was like, man, should we have kind of tried to get him worse field position? So I can see both. Because like imagine Debo ends up taking that to the crib.
Right. But it just seemed weird that you didn't do it the whole entire game until overtime. So
Yeah.
it's like if they weren't worried all game, and then at that time they'd like, and maybe it was just Will kicked it too hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
It could have been, but I didn't. That was unfortunate because that set them up. They didn't need as much. Starting them at the 35. Barron almost sealed it on that third down. He jumped it and just barely didn't. But his instincts are right there, man. Like you can
Yeah.
just see them.
Yeah.
And there was a horrific hold on the one play where Mariota broke the two tackles through it, and then Hufanga ends up getting the DPI. There was a horrific hold on Cooper on that play, like the worst. And I was just like, not called. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Like, there's so much other things that happened.
Yeah, I think they definitely. I mean, it's not that they got us back because we got the holding and it was obviously holding, but I think that they after that one they were like, all right, let's like actually
You
look
have
at
to
it.
call it.
Dude, I was screaming at the TV when they had I think it ended up being a touchdown pass. I threw my hat. The little thing on the top of the hat popped off. Like I was losing. I was like fucking call the holding, and then they were like flag, and I was like, oh my god, did they actually call it? And I was like, thank God they actually did. But I almost lost my mind on that
Oh,
because it was like so obvious, and the line judge was right there, and I was like going to be convinced, like if they're not going to call that,
yeah.
at that particular time of the game, like with the result too, that was crazy.
And what was interesting about that too was Collinsworth was starting to advocate that it was a bad call, and then they showed the other side of the replay, and it was like the most like this, and he was like, okay, yeah, you got to call that. And then the way that the ref called it, he was so sad he had to call a hold on them. Like, did you notice his body language? It wasn't just a holding. It was like holding. It was like he was disappointed. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, this is insane that he's this sad about it.
That's crazy.
But the other thing about that Hufanga DPI play was JFM. Benito's got him. He should have wrapped him up. Then JFM comes in to like hit him as well, and he didn't wrap him up. That was the one that was he just tried to smash him instead of just wrap, dude. Just wrap and it's over. And it was like you better learn your lesson from that. Like, do the smart thing, don't do like the fun thing. And good on Mariota for making that play, because I don't know how he did it, but great play to do that. And then finally, got the holding call. Then you had the Riley hesitation play that ended up getting Debo down. First goal, stopped run. They were like waiting for it. When we wanted to stop the run, we did, but we just didn't want to stop the run most of the game on first down.
Yeah.
So when we actually like locked in to stop it, like they didn't get anything. They got pushed back. Second down was that great coverage by PS2. It was kind of a high throw, but he was like right on him. Third down was the Hufanga push in the back PB breakup that Ertz kind of had his fingertips on. The fourth down, like you said, was the freaking blatant no call pick. That was like, I don't understand. I guess.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, what is the rule? Like you can do it within a yard or 2 yards. So maybe that's why it's not, but like, dude, in the end zone, that's crazy.
Yeah. No.
Because it's like, what the hell are they supposed to do?
Yeah.
I guess you could just do it every single time, but yeah, I just thought it was like so obvious.
And then the last play of the game, where and Collinsworth was super disappointed, it sounded like, where he's like, they had a walk-in touchdown. It was another blatant pick on Hufanga. They knew who to pick. They literally laid into him as well.
Totally.
They didn't call it. They weren't going to call that either. So thank God Benito gets
and that was more
that
than
was
2
a
yards
ball
down
don't
the field.
lie.
That was more than 2 yards on the field, but you're absolutely 100% right. Like I went and looked at it and again, and man, he was wide open, and I was surprised how far Nick Bonito actually was from Mariota. I felt like he was in his grill, but he was a good like 4 yards away. So to be able to get up and knock it down was awesome. But 100% like such a blatant uh, pick play again, and I mean, listen, I know teams do it a lot, but it's something that the league's going to have to be a little bit smarter with how they officiate because it really is a subjective call,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it really is in a sense of like, oh, well, he wanted to continue to run his route, and it's like, yeah, but like who's judging that,
If
you
it's
know?
like it's clearly the design of the play. Like, not
Yeah,
just to when we do it, it's like he'll get caught in the wash and he'll like have to slow up. But we don't just go into the guy's chest and be
yeah,
like, "Oh, well, that's it."
yeah. And
So,
sometimes you got to sell it a little bit better, but
right.
yeah, I mean, it was weird. So I guess like my overall takeaway was like, firstly, I felt like Washington, especially on offense, like attacked us perfectly. I was actually blown away that it took this long for teams to kind of do that. Because I'm sitting there thinking, what's the big weakness on this team? It's the linebackers. You get the linebackers in space and you get the ball out quickly and you force them to tackle. We're a decent tackling team, but like that's how you move the ball and that you completely eliminate the pass rush. I just never really understood like why teams didn't do it to the point where I just thought maybe we were also taking that away. But like I'm not gonna say that I'm concerned, obviously after one game, but they're gonna have to. 'Cause teams are definitely gonna start doing that all day, and we're gonna have to, um, have an answer for it. But the big thing that was making the defense so good all year is that we were so good on first and second down. I mean, so
Yep.
good to the point where like, okay, now you knew they were gonna throw it. We can unleash the pass rush, and it was a wrap. But they were so consistently in like third and short, second and short. It just didn't allow for us to really get into that. So definitely quite a bit to clean up there. One thing I wanted to mention too was the game management by Sean, and I really loved the fact that he wasn't chasing the points. Right, we were down
Mhm.
7-6. We went up 13-7. We could have easily, uh, went for two to make it a one score. We didn't. Same thing when it was 20-14. Like I like that we weren't unnecessarily trying to chase the points until it was the right time. We didn't really have the opportunity in the fourth quarter, but that paid huge dividends because it ended up being a 1 point game. So you don't get it, and then you're kind of chasing the whole time. And coaches do it so often, and I was just really happy that he didn't end up chasing that. I thought that was a really, really good game management by him
Yep.
overall. And I felt like his late game management's been a lot better. I would have liked to see us like forced to burn one more timeout in the final 2 minute drive, like at least get Washington down to no timeouts or one, but we ended up throwing it. But otherwise, I thought from a game management standpoint, he did a good job.
Yeah. And I thought they figured that stuff out. I thought they called really good plays on offense, and they just kept staying alive like over and over. That's the thing. It's like I'm sure people thought we were gonna win easily because the records, but like that's where Washington, and you got to give it credit of like they just had tiger's blood where just couldn't kill them. You couldn't quite kill them until the end. So,
Yep.
um,
No,
you
they did.
know,
I mean, it's the first time Washington's been like as healthy as they've been on offense and on defense. So, like that's the thing. People get so caught up in like the record this or the record that, but I mean, people also don't realize. Okay, there's a chance they get Jaden. Now they probably won't bring Jaden Daniels back now, but like if they win this game, they could bring Jaden Daniels back, and this team could make a little bit of a push. And you never know how the NFC's gonna play out. I mean, even the line even moved when they said that Jaden Daniels could be back the next week because they felt like, oh, that's a big motivation factor. Like the season up to that point wasn't lost, but they're also coming off of a bye week. They're a lot healthier. Like having Debo Samuel and Zach Ertz and Terry McLaurin is a pretty formidable group. Um,
definitely.
they got some other guys on defense back, guys playing like I think it was Collinsworth that brought up Mike Sanders still, who I loved in Michigan, loved
Me
him.
too.
And I thought he was so good in the pros, and he was struggling a lot this year. But since Dan Quinn took over play calling duties and they started just playing a lot of zone, like he's so much better as
Yep.
a zone corner. And so like those little things, like people will just get caught up on, oh, Washington's 3-8. They suck. They've lost this much in a row. Broncos should have beat them. And it's like, dude, it never happens.
No,
Like Carolina whooped up on the Rams.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like the NFL is crazy. It's a crazy league. So you never
Yep.
know.
And that's a team talented wise was in the NFC Championship last year. I know the quarterback's different, but like you got a really, really, really good effort from Mariota. So
Yeah,
I mean, you could look at it that way. You could look at it that way too. So
yeah, no, I thought he played great, and they had Chris Rodriguez back, so the run game was a lot more powerful. I mean, yeah, it was a great effort by them. I mean, you know, I think a lot of people when you give the other team credit, they make it seem like it's an out, but like genuinely, I thought Washington's game plan was amazing, especially on offense. Like they attacked our defense perfectly, and I thought we were gonna adjust, and we kind of didn't, but like kudos to them. I thought they played really well.
yeah, and I saw a bunch of Washington fans being like stopping in, talking, and being like, "I'm a Washington fan. I thought you guys played. That was a really good football game. Like, congrats and stuff."
Yeah.
Like, I just felt like that was two really good efforts that ended up just some team had to win and some team had to lose, but like that was I respect that they brought it, and I think we could have maybe won it a few other times, and I think we were the better team won. I think that, but I give them credit because they
Yeah,
they
no,
play well.
I thought they played really well, and I mean Cliff Kingsbury, that good dude can chalk up an offense, man. I'll tell you that. I don't know if he's probably gonna get another head coaching job. He should. Like I think he'd be great with Jackson Dart in the Giants. I spoke to my buddy about that, but he's a really good offensive coordinator, man. And I thought he was just constantly dialing it up, like to the point where the defense was confused, right? Like there was a lot of communication. And another thing I noticed with the defense that I didn't mention here in my notes too was it looked like they tipped their hand a lot pre-snap. And I think that that's something that Washington was trying to do as well as like kind of delay the count, see if they could see who was going to jump, who was going to come in, and then reassess. Because when the Broncos crowd the line like that, you have no idea who's coming. That's kind of been the cool thing. And again, another thing that the Broncos moving forward are going to have to be cognizant of because teams are going to copy that. I mean, you're going to see Geno Smith get the ball out of his hands quickly, try to get Brock Bowers working. The fact that they got him one catch in the last matchup was a travesty. I think he's going to get 15, 16 targets minimum. And they're going to probably try to pound Ashton Genty too. Like it's going to be a different game plan because of what Washington showed. And so defense is going to have to adjust. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You get speed. Speed is the one thing that's always killed this defense. Always.
Yeah.
You got really fast guys, and Washington does, especially with Debo and McLaurin. Like, yeah, they can find space. So we got to be better there. But otherwise, unbelievable game. This season's been crazy, man.
It really has.
The season as a whole has been wild. But so moving forward, like in the final 5 games of the year, on the offense, what's the biggest thing you feel like, man, or maybe it could be a couple things that you're like, this has to get better, or we're not gonna win this. We're not gonna get to the Super Bowl and maybe win it.
To me, that was the perfect game that this team needed on both offensively and defensively to like. I thought that was a great game plan against our defense, and we needed to learn some stuff from that. Some people are like, "Oh, did they give other teams like the formula?" It's like, well, no, we're good enough to like learn and adapt. So like, I'm glad we saw some of that stuff on that game. And then I felt like the offense with all the screens and all the different things that they were doing, and just the way Harvey got more touches and pass protection, I thought that was a perfect game for us, especially the fact that we won the game. So to me, it was like, I couldn't have asked for more. Hopefully DJ Jones is okay. I didn't hear anything. I don't know how that, like,
he didn't end up coming back, did he?
No, but that was late in the game, so I don't know. But
looked like it was a rib injury. I don't know.
Something.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either.
I'm so sorry,
but we won't until Wednesday.
Yeah, I can hear my daughter. I gotta probably bounce here. So,
oh, you're good.
But yeah, no, I mean, that was the kind of game that actually we needed in a lot of ways, and the fact that we survived it was like that. I mean, it's great on all. I mean, we needed to feel what it felt like in an overtime game. It needed to feel like when it comes down the wire again. Like the defense had to hold, the offense needed to make play. All of it, like, was if you were a coach and trying to get your team like acclimated to like what they're going to have to see later, that was perfect.
Yeah. No doubt about it. Yeah. I think overall for me too, man, like the way that which the game unfolded, I thought was a really big positive. It was nice to see the offense carry the weight, right? Something that you see like every single time this offense has needed a big time drive, they've gotten it put together. They proved that again yesterday and kind of carried the defense. We kind of owe them. So that was big.
Right.
And the same thing like all the big fourth quarter comebacks. Anytime it was a got to have it drive, we 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 went and got it done. And so that's a big positive. I would just say going into the playoffs, yeah, you got to see this offense be more consistent. You got to see them be better in the red zone. That was one thing that they were pretty good at earlier, and they've really tapered off in terms of being good in the red zone. I think that's really where we're feeling the effects of not having J.K. Dobbins. And then I want to see us have some semblance of a run game. I don't really care at this point who it is. If it's RJ, if it's Mims, if it's Jaleel, Bidet, it doesn't really matter. But
Mm-hmm.
like a more consistent running attack overall. And then lastly, man, like we need to start winning this turnover battle. Like our defense has been so dominant at times. We just need them to translate into forcing turnovers. Offense is doing a good job of not turning the ball over like crazy, but the defense just needs to take more advantage. And it seems like we've had so many opportunities where we're so close, and you just feel like it's going to come. So I'd like to
Yeah.
see us, get more. If we really want to make noise in the playoffs, it's going to come down to more turnovers and a better run game, so you can control the clock better. But yeah, overall, I thought I thought it was a great game, super entertaining game.
Yeah.
Like basically every Broncos game has been, whether it's been a boring type of entertaining or exciting like yesterday's. So yeah, man. Anything that you got cooking up? Obviously, we got Horsepower Hour tonight at 8 o'clock Mountain. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that one. But anything else that you're working on?
Um, yeah, and that's mainly it. And then just looking forward to next week and seeing if we can go to the 10 game winning streak. I think that would tie it. Um, my last thought of what I wanted to say too earlier about that is really encouraging. And I know when these comparisons get thrown around, it's kind of like slow down, and I'm with them on that. But watching Bo Nix turn into like this guy who has this really good presence of when someone's coming from behind or around him, and he can get out of there and then full run hit people. That is so Elway-esque that it's just like, man, I feel like if just a couple of things, if we just get a couple more, if we get the run game going, or we get Evan Ingram, which I felt like that was that could have been the breakthrough game last night. I was just finding the right rhythm with that kind of guy. Now, if he starts to get more consistent with that every week, I think now that's really all we need,
Hmm.
honestly. And yeah, this was the game that I felt really like we needed. We had, it's hard to win football games in the NFL, and an East Coast game, prime time, that they're like this was their Super Bowl. They had nothing to play for other than like to spoil us. So yeah, I just I just really liked that game. It was so frustrating, and I was like, it was stressful.
Hmm.
But once it's over, you're just like, that was a good test. It's like if you play sports, especially competitive sports against another opponent or another team, and you just at the end of the day, you just were like, damn, that was a good game. That's what that felt like.
Yep. No, belief is a hell of a thing, man. And as long as this team doesn't allow for them to just rely on that belief and actually put the work in like they have been, it's gonna fare really well for this team. I really do believe that. But Jeremy, appreciate it, man. It was awesome. Always love to do the Broncos debrief. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to both channels, and we'll catch you guys tonight at 8 p.m. on Horsepower. So y'all take it easy. Go Broncos. Peace.
Go Broncos, baby.